Hi, everyone. So, some people are saying that the recent podcast with Jonathan and the other guy regarding the Path of Exile 2 upcoming patch has debunked the idea that the corpses on tops of the towers indicate locations of yet to be discovered citadels on the Atlas. And I just want to push back on that a little bit, um, or actually a lot, because if you pay attention to what they actually say and how they say it, um, it's not as clear as some people are making it out to sound. Um, so, if you're not aware, there has been some really excellent work done by some people in the community, and I have an earlier video on this in which we look at the evidence that the corpses that you can find, the mummified corpses on the tops of the towers on the Atlas, that if you interpret them correctly and then do some basic math, they will actually tell you where the citadels are located. So a lot of people have had difficulty finding the citadels, um, and that led to some people asking, is there perhaps an easier way? Are we overlooking something? And indeed, it turned out that we were, right? So if you haven't seen that video, go take a look at it. I talk about how you simply count out the number of corpses, divide them, or sorry, subtract the number of statues, look at the direction in which the statues are facing, do the opposite of that, and then you do some basic math. You can find out, based on sort of a clockwork system, precisely the direction of the next citadel. Now, some people have questioned this. They've said this is a crazy conspiracy theory. There's no way this is right. You're just seeing what you want to see. And I'm telling you, every time I've tested this, it has turned out to work. And I'm not the only one. Um, so once you find out, if doing the math correctly, once you find out the direction of the next citadel, you simply go in that direction until you find it, right? And you will find it, I guarantee it. That might be in one screen. It might take two or three or four, possibly up to 100, right? That's unlikely, but it could be that many. But I promise you, that method that I laid out does indeed indicate the direction of an unfound citadel. You will find it if you go in the direction that's indicated, right? So you might say, well, if the game directors have contradicted that, if they've said, no, this is not true, then how could I still be making this claim? And I want you to pay very careful attention to the way Jonathan says this, right? When he says this is just sort of made up nonsense in the minds of gamers, it's a conspiracy theory, it's a kind of voodoo engaged in by people who haven't thought about this very carefully. You'll notice that his left eye kind of twitches a little bit. It's hard to see. You might have to pause it, rewind, watch it a few times in very high resolution, but eventually you will see. And okay, I don't want to sound too conspiratorial here, but it's largely and widely known that that gesture indicates I'm joking here, right? That Jonathan is, in fact, not telling the truth. I'm not saying he's lying, but he's making a joke, right? When he says this doesn't work, it's a kind of wink, right? A very sort of a small version of a wink. So I think this is all nothing. There's really not much to read into here. What the game director said, it may look like they have completely refuted this idea as just some sort of crazy notion in the minds of some gamers. But again, if we read between the lines, if we look under the surface, it's very clear that he's sending us a message, right? Now, it may be that there are still further secrets to discover regarding the corpses on the tops of the towers, right? So I would suggest that the community continue to work on this and try and figure out what else we might glean from these tower bodies, right? Because it might be that it's not only an indication of the location of a nearby citadel, but it might also tell you what map to run in order to get a divine drop or an extremely rare unique or to find certain league mechanics. We just don't know yet. We don't know. We need to look into this further, but definitely don't give up on this. There is, I think, a lot yet to be discovered. And even if it turns out that there isn't anything, don't sleep on the idea that this is a great way to find citadels. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you learned something. I'll talk to you next time.